Alright everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to go over the list of equipment and materials you're going to need for Welding 101. Now there's really two different scenarios for people that are taking this course. Either number one, you're taking this course because you would like to pursue a career in welding, and with that you may decide to upgrade maybe higher quality equipment. And then for those of you who are just taking this for a credit, let's say you're a machinist and you just want to get a credit to get your degree, that's another option. So I have options for you guys that maybe you're just taking this class and that's really it. So I got options for both of you. Now first of all, I want to talk about your personal clothing, okay? So there's a few different things. The number one thing that you need is safety glasses. You either need the clear plastic safety glasses if you don't wear glasses, or you choose to wear contacts, okay? Or you can get prescription safety glasses, or at least if you're wearing some sort of glasses, like prescription glasses, you need to have side shields to protect your eyes on the side, okay? And then for clothing, you need to be wearing either cotton or canvas clothing, okay? It has to be natural materials. I guess you could wear wool and leather as well, but most people don't. So cotton has to be 100% cotton, not any type of blend, nothing synthetic. So I don't want to see anybody wearing shorts, workout clothes, anything like that. It's not going to be allowed in the shop. If you come here wearing anything like that, you're going to be sent out. You also are going to need boots. You're going to need leather boots, and they don't necessarily have to be steel toe for this class or for any of the classes here, but they got to be leather so that you don't burn yourself. So we're working with sparks, molten metal, and flames, okay? So I don't want anybody catching on fire here. Then the most important piece of equipment that you can buy is a welding helmet, okay? Now welding helmets really come into two different types. You got a fixed shade helmet and you got an auto darkening helmet. This is an auto darkening helmet. Okay, so what that means is when I put this helmet on, it's somewhat clear until I strike an arc, and then it senses the spark and it goes completely dark to protect your eyes. But you can kind of position yourself, you can see a lot better. So a lot of people say this is a lot more user-friendly. Okay, this is newer technology. The issue is it's not always the most reliable. The batteries can go out. Electronically, you can have problems, especially if you buy something that is lesser quality. I see a lot of people buying Harbor Freight helmets, and they are cheaper helmets, okay? But they break a lot easier, so just know that going into it. And if you want something that's bulletproof and it's going to last a long time, you're going to want to get something called a fixed shade helmet or a fixed shade lens, okay? Come in all different shapes and sizes. This is a fiber metal pipeliner hood, okay? This is just one of a multitude of different types of welding helmets. Okay, you're gonna have to look for these online or go to a welding supply store to get them. It's not like you're gonna be able to find something like this at a Menards or a Farm and Fleet. They do sell welding equipment there, but it's not always, the best. Or if you're looking for this particular hood, you gotta look online. Okay, now this is a dark filter plate, okay? They come in different shades. For welding, you wanna get a shade 10, okay? And it's completely dark. It never changes the shade or quote unquote the color. So what you have to do is when you strike the arc, or when you get ready to strike the arc, you gotta flip your head down to flip the hood down. So I'm gonna get ready, and when I'm ready to strike it, I gotta put my hood down, and I'm good to go. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but this will always work. You could drop it from a 10-story building, pick it up, and it'll work just fine. As long as the glass or the plastic isn't cracked and the helmet isn't cracked. Whereas this, you could even drop it just from here to the floor. Something electronically could break in it. So just know that going into it. Okay? Now, the other thing that you're going to need to get is for oxyacetylene welding. Okay, you're going to need to get some sort of shade 5 filter plate or welding lens, okay? They come in different styles. This is a combination grinding and plasma cutting and oxyacetylene welding hood or helmet. They have goggles that you can wear. There's just a ton of different assortments. Just look up oxyacetylene welding goggles or welding helmet or hood, something like that. And this protects your eyes when you're oxyacetylene welding. And again, you may not be able to find that at a big box store. You may either have to go to a welding supply store or look for it online. The next thing you're going to need to get is some sort of welding jacket. They come in all different shapes and sizes. This is a cotton jacket, okay, the one that I'm showing you right now. This is what I recommend for everybody to get at first. We're not welding overhead or vertical where there's going to be a lot of sparks falling on us, so we don't have to worry about burning the jacket as much. Cotton is the least amount of protection that you can get, but it's the most lightweight and it's the cheapest. So for this class, it's good to just get a cotton jacket, and it's nice to be able to have something that's lightweight, okay? If you're oxyacetylene welding or TIG welding, you don't want to be wearing something that's heavy. You want to be able to move freely and not get bound up with what you're doing. They do make like leather sleeves that you can put over the jacket, something like this. They make jackets with leather sleeves on them. They make completely leather jackets as well. That's something to look into later after you get a jacket like this, because they're a lot more expensive. And then you're going to want to get a welding beanie, or sometimes they call them like a skull cap, but this is just a cotton protective hat, really, that you wear over your head to protect yourself from sparks, okay? And then generally they have like a flare here, or like a bill, and this is to protect your ear from sparks going into your ear. So a lot of times when you're pipe welding, you gotta weld around the pipe, and sparks can fly into your ear and it's not very comfortable. So you put the bill on the ear to protect it, if that makes sense, okay? All different types, brands, whatever. Just make sure you get something to protect your head. Some people like to use bandanas. There's just a whole bunch of different options, and that's gonna be your preference. Now for gloves. So there's really two types of gloves that I would prefer you guys to come into the class with. You're gonna wanna get stick welding gauntlet gloves, okay? Like this. And it goes, kind of deep, like mid-arm. And that's for protect from stick welding, which is a heavy form of welding where there's a lot of sparks and a lot of heat. Okay, these are thicker gloves. You don't have as much dexterity, but they protect you, okay? The other type of glove that I'd like you guys to get is a lighter weight glove. This is like a work glove. They also sell lighter weight gloves called TIG welding gloves as well. And they're just thinner leather, and you have a lot more dexterity, but they have to be 100% leather. I don't want you guys getting anything that's like nylon or synthetic. But this gives you dexterity, so when you're oxyacetylene welding, you can use the torch and adjust the torch. A lot of times I see people struggling with setting the torch and actually welding with these thicker gloves because they can't move freely. So if you have the extra money, get these work or lighter duty gloves. If you don't and you just want one type of glove, you got to get stick welding gloves. Otherwise you're going to burn yourself if you try to use lighter weight gloves like this. Okay? For tools, for stick welding, you got to get a chipping hammer. Okay? There's tons of different types of chipping hammers. Just search for chipping hammer when you get your equipment. This chips off the slag, which is something you got to do to clean your weld after you're welding. You also need to get a brush, okay, a wire brush. I don't want to see nylon. I don't want to see brass or copper. They make different types of brushes. You want to get a wire brush, preferably a stainless steel wire brush. They're the most durable, they don't wear down as quick, and they won't rust. So that's for stick welding. For oxyacetylene welding, the tools you're going to need are going to be a striker. Okay, this is just a flint striker, and it just makes sparks so that you can ignite your flame. Then you're going to want to get an oxyacetylene tip cleaner. Okay, this cleans the components for oxyacetylene welding so you can use it to efficiently weld. You're going to also want to have pliers. This is for both stick welding and oxyacetylene welding. You're going to want to get a pair of channel lock pliers or vice grips, heavier duty pliers, because the metal gets really hot and you want to be able to pick it up with a plier so that you can move it. See a lot of times people trying to use their gloves to pick up metal that's hot. What happens is you prematurely wear your gloves by burning them, and you also can burn yourself by picking up a hot piece of metal. Okay, they're not meant to do that. You can still burn yourself wearing leather gloves when you pick up hot metal. Okay. And then additionally, I'd recommend, if you have the money and you're planning on sticking through these courses, pursuing a career of welding, you're going to want to get a pair of MIG pliers, or sometimes they call them whelpers or welder's helper pliers. And they got a pair of side cutters. They got a couple different size, almost like cutouts for using welding equipment. And it's combination pliers is really what it is. But if you have the money, get these as well, because you'll need them later on. And it's really good to clip the end of your wire for either stick welding or oxyacetylene welding. Alrighty, and then another thing, just to get things squared up and just to have a reference, a combination square is also helpful. You can line up your lines when we're doing like pads of beads. You can make sure things are squared off when you tack them. Something like this will be really helpful for you guys, especially when you want to do quality work. Alright, so that's the basic list of materials. I'm also going to send you guys a link, and it will be on my D2L page of the list of materials you need to buy. If you have any questions, feel free to email me on that. Otherwise, thank you very much, and stay tuned for the next video.